Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday evening, and welcome to another reading of the Psalms. I am so happy to come before you all again this evening. I'm becoming more and more excited about interpreting these Psalms to you today, every day. um, as usual, if you guys find my content inspiring, if you find it thought provoking, if you find it necessary, please subscribe, please share, please like. If you have the means to do so, please donate to this page. We are this is an organic page. I am creating this from just the creative thoughts in my mind, and I'm building upon it step by step, brick by brick, organically from the ground up. Okay, so we're getting this out of the mud. I get everything out the mud, y'all. I'm one of them kind of girls. I don't lean on people to help me or to come save my day. I build everything I have from zero to something. And I'm confident that God will bless this content and this channel as God has blessed me my entire life in creating things from nothing and going for what I know just off of the inspiration that I have within myself and the trust and the faith that I have in my knowing. So if you have the ability to bless this page, I ask that you do so. It would be nothing but a blessing to you. It's a win-win for all of us. You will bless me and allow me some assistance in growing and cultivating new projects and bringing them to life in the form of these biblical perspectives, and also to bless yourself, because when you do good, good comes to you. It's like a force. It's nothing but good that can come from it. All right, so let's get to it. Today we are going to be speaking out of Psalm 127. This is a song of degrees for King Solomon. So this is not a Davidic psalm. This is a Psalm of Solomon. And I'm highly excited about bringing it forward to you. We're going to read the entire psalm. It's from verse 1 through 5. It's pretty short. So I'll begin. Verse 1. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. It is vain for you to rise up early and to sit up late and eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. Lo, children are a heritage unto the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that has his quiver full of them. He shall not be ashamed, but he shall speak with the enemy in the gate. Hallelujah. I read this psalm quite often. It's one of the many psalms that I read in the morning to cover myself with the word of God. And throughout my day, at times, I find myself meditating upon this psalm. Many of you know it. It's a very famous psalm. But I'd like to go into detail about this psalm with you all today, verse by verse. It begins with, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. You know, many of us, all of us are a part of a house. Many of us live in a house, whether it's an apartment or a home. They are dwelling places. These are houses. These are dwelling places. A lot of times in spiritual texts, houses are reference points for ancestry. They're places of heritage. So if you are of the house of David, if you are of the house of Solomon, they are houses that speak to spirituality, and they speak to ancestry most often. So when it says here, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord build the dwelling place, the place of stability, the place of consistency, that place that you find shelter in from all of the forces of nature and all of the wiles of the world, that place of refuge for you. Unless God builds it, you're laboring in vain. It will be of no benefit to you in the long run. It may seem great and grandiose initially, as all places do that are new, but it will not withstand the test of time. It follows up quickly and it says, except the Lord build the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. So in ancient times, cities were guarded. The gates, they usually had gates around them. If they didn't have gates, they definitely had guard posts within certain distances from one another, where they had multiple guards guarding different areas of entry into the city. And this text is saying, except God keep the city, protect the city, if it's not the Spirit of God that is protecting the city, those that you consider powerful, those spirits that you consider powerful, or those people you consider powerful that are watching the city, they're watching it in vain. They're just out there for you to feel confident in them, for you to visualize them there and see them there holding post, but they have no power. Verse 2. It is vain for you to rise up early and to sit up late and eat the bread of sorrow, for he giveth his beloved sleep. Vanity. Vanity is, when they say vanity or being vain, that means you're putting your trust in you alone. You're doing too much. You're just doing too much. You don't know your role, so you're doing too much. You're rising up early and you're sitting up late, and you're sorrowful and you're regretful and you're paranoid and you're afraid and you're fearful and you're confused and you're anxious and you're unsettled, and you can find no peace because the mind is searching for an answer. The mind is searching for something to find refuge in that will be able to console it. But there is none if you do not have God as the force that can handle it. If you are not leaning in on God, and if you're leaning in only on your abilities and your wherewithal, you're wasting your time. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, and to eat the bread of sorrow, for he giveth his beloved sleep. You are prematurely aging yourself. You are wreaking havoc on your immune system and all the cells of your body by way of the fear and the frustration and the doubt and all of the negativity you are inflicting upon yourself, because you are ignorant. You're blind. You're blind to the fact of who you are because you're reading that garbage. Flavor Flav said that. That was a word. You're blind. You don't know that you don't know. You don't know your role. You don't know that that is not your role. Your body is sending you signals in the form of frustration, stress, restlessness, to tell you this is not your role. You're doing too much. You're out of alignment. Because if you were in alignment, regardless to what's going on amongst you, God will give you sleep. You will bypass all of that. A lot of times, friend, even myself, I have to use as an example, some of the most tumultuous times in my life, initially, I wrestled with trying to do everything I needed to do to figure my way out of it. I'd sit up late. I'd drive, and I would just be in deep thought trying to figure out how I could overcome it. Because that's the natural response in the body. That's the natural part of us. That's the fleshly part. But there must come a time when the spiritual part defaults and kicks in and says, no, you're doing too much. It's natural to do all you can to rectify the situation and not wait for God to come and fix it for you. But there are things in this life that are beyond what you can do. There are things in life that God has allowed for you to go through because of a testimony or because of something you need to graduate to and you need to learn from. And God needs to see how you move, and God needs for you to see how God moves. So there's only going to be so much you can do to rectify it until you lay it down. There are some things in this life that you will not be able to overcome by yourself. And you need to know when the time comes to give it to God and leave it there. And trust and know and not worry about if God is going to handle it. Be at peace enough to say, I welcome any solution you have to this because I know you love me. And I ask that you let it work to my best and highest good, to my best benefit and to my highest good. And I leave it at that without expecting for you to do it the exact way I want you to do it. Because if you were going to do it the way I wanted you to do it, I would have done it myself. You would have allowed me to do it. So the situation is showing me that it's not what I expect it to be. I'm not able to see what you want from me in this situation. I see what I want from it. And I made it obvious to you that that's what I want by way of my actions and trying to resolve it and the way what I've been thinking about and pondering in regards to how it should turn out. Now that you know all of this and now that you've seen that I've done the most I can do, I will leave it with you. And I ask that you let this thing work out to my highest good and to my best interest and leave it there. Verse 3. Lo, children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. Children are a heritage of the Lord because this is an ancestral thing. We're dealing with ancestry. This entire book is a book of heritage. This book is a history of a people and a history of many other people. This is just a book of a history of people and their interactions and the God of Israel's interactions with them and their interactions with the children. This is what this book is. Fundamentally, I'm not just putting a stamp on it and labeling in that, but when you get to the fundamentals to it, the characters of this book are all people and spirits and a God and other gods and spirits. This is what we're dealing with here. And it's a story. It's a metaphoric story that can be taken in a larger perspective. This thing is so brilliantly written that we don't give it enough credit. The simple will make a mockery of this because they are depending solely on the wording and they're not internalizing the spiritual component of this. Even though they say they will, or they do. Most people that condemn this book haven't even read it. They've read an overview, top, high level perspective of it. They've read some other people's interpretations of it. But they've never sat down and read it chapter by chapter, word by word. So they don't know. They're banking off of what they heard. A lot of stuff that we deal with in life, y'all, is 99% hearsay. Whether you get a book from the library or you order it off of Amazon, it's somebody else's perspective that they have studied from someone else. Most of this stuff is not even organic. It is not. It is a revision of something else. That was a revision of something else. And it's a revision of, that's where we're at. I'm telling you. So when we get amongst one another and we say, oh, you don't have all the answers because you're over there reading that. I'm smarter than you because I have faced the truth and you haven't. Even though the information that they got is just as corrupted, if they want to call it that, as all the other information that's out there. We're at the end of a thing, y'all. There needs to be a reality check here. This is not Adam and Eve and go through the garden. And even before Adam and Eve, there was something before that. We are at the end of something. We're not even at Noah. At least Noah was the beginning of something new. We at the end of something. when really all you got is what's inside of you. That is the most organic spot that you got in this world. That is your sanctuary. And that is why this text said, lo, children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. Children are a heritage of the Lord because you must come before God as a child, not bound by all of the thought processes and the programming and the limitations that we are bound to as we grow and ascend in this life. We're not tainted by the stuff of this world when we are children. Children, he said, lo, children are my heritage, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. The fruit of the womb, those that can come forth from the fruit, from the grapes that they look like while they're in the mother's womb, all the way to a fetus, and then get birthed out into the world of light in the form of a child. This is success. If only you knew how difficult it was for you to conceive. See, what we get lost in is the fact that we have been born into such a gift that it's second nature. You don't even know the blessing you're standing in. Even if you're out in the street and you have nothing, you're a millionaire in spirit. You could create whatever you want. But what happens is we get born into this world and we get programmed and we get limited from the gate. We forget why we came here. Every last one of us decided to come here. Didn't nobody just get punished into this? This is not a punishment. This is a gift. Many of you are squandering a gift that you will not realize until it's all done. You won't even realize it. And you will be like, dang, how did I let that happen? It is a gift. And the least you could do is help someone else along your way. That's the least you could do. Because in doing so, you attract blessings. You attract love. You fortify yourself. You do. But this world has you programmed that it's popular to run around here with a gun and to go around disrespecting women and disrespecting each other and warring. You seem strong if you could do that. You're not strong. You are robbing yourself. You are robbing yourself in a way that you do not even understand. You cannot even fathom how bad you are robbing yourself. You're robbing yourself for lifetimes. Lifetimes. Because it'd be different if you were just doing it to you. But you are affecting other people. This is the part. This is where the law of multiplicity will work against you. The law of multiplicity is when you share something good. Initially, when we were created and we were multiplying goodness. It was nothing but goodness here. So all of that goodness that you multiply, bless you in the lives to come. Because this is not it. This ain't the end of the road. It matters what you do in this life. I just have to tell you this. So it would be best if you did goodness. But if you out here premeditatively just turning folks and breaking them and sending them down roads that break generations down, oh my goodness. Let's get back to it. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that has his quiver full of them. Happy is the person that is full of abundance and good-hearted people. He shall not be ashamed, but shall speak with the enemy in the gate. That's interesting. He shall not be ashamed, but he shall speak with the enemy in the gate. You'll never be ashamed by multiplying amongst people that are righteous. There will not ever be a snag that comes or a snare that comes and trips you up when you multiply amongst the righteous. People that live by an internal law, that honor the God within them. They hold themselves to a specific level of accountability. They check themselves. And they don't mind being reprimanded and chastised because they know that only makes them better. They are strong for real. They're not fake strong. See, fake strong is when you come on here and somebody tell you something and they don't agree with you, or they tell you something that you don't want to hear, and then you label them less than you, or you try to humiliate them. Real strength is when someone comes amongst you and tells you something that is not in agreement with you, that you there's no reason to get angry. Well, I want to understand why you say that. Because I'm looking to be my best all the time as well. So why would I not want to hear that? When do I ever get to a place in life where I'm not able to be corrected? I'd like to know. Whenever you feel as if you've gotten to that place in life where you are above correction, or you are above the ideas or perspectives of other people, you're in a place of concern. You should be concerned about that, because nothing good can come from that. There's nothing good that can come from that. When you are in a place where people feel free and comfortable to tell you certain things that are beneficial to you, whether you take them or leave them, when you're in a place where people are open enough with you to tell you the honest to God's truth that others probably wouldn't even take the time to say to you, you're in a good place. You're doing something right, friend. But when you're in a place where everybody is just agreeing with you and they're like, hey, yeah, oh yeah, that was great. But then behind the scenes, they know that that's not true. Everybody know. And if everybody don't know, the majority of people know, but they're not talking to you about it, you're not in a good place. Happy is the man that has his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but shall speak with the enemy in the gate. They're going to speak with the enemy at the door. They will not be ashamed. They will be righteous enough within themselves to address anything less than that at the gate. I'm not going to let it go on, and I'm going to agree with it because I'm afraid to say something about it. If you come upon me and you are not righteous, or if you're not in alignment spiritually, I'm going to know. And if I don't address it immediately, the further I let that relationship, whatever it may be, friendship, relationship, in a love, interest, or work environment, whatever, if I let it continue to linger, I've opened myself up to whatever it will bring upon me. But this scripture says, happy is the man that, it says here, as arrows are in the hands of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that has his quiver full of them. He shall not be ashamed, but he shall speak with the enemy in the gate. Because right along with the goodness, all the righteousness, there is a devil. Wherever there is a congregation of people, there is a devil. This is just the mathematics of it. So you must know this. And when it shows itself, which it will, you must immediately deal with it. Face to face, head up. You must immediately deal with it. Not make a big deal out of it, not any of that. But you must immediately deal with it when it makes itself present, and then you move on. Because life is not the type of existence where there is no enemy, where there is no wickedness. This is not the type of existence where it's all beautiful and abundant at all times. And that's what this text is saying. Wanted to come on with this perspective for you. I couldn't remember, you guys, if I had done my Bible study on, not my Bible study, I had done my Psalm interpretation on Saturday or not, but I came forward with it. And then my daughter said, oh, you're going on, you sure are doing a lot of those videos lately. You're going on with the same pajamas. And I thought, am I wearing this? Have I worn this more than once? And I said, well, you know what? I'm going on anyway because, you know, I don't come on here to impress anybody with the aesthetics. I'm coming on to deliver a word and a perspective for someone that they can utilize in a real way in real time. And that's it. And I might have worn this pajama set more than once, but nonetheless, here I am. We're loved more than we'll ever know, you guys. I just wanted to come on with a brief ideology for you all to ponder this evening while you're relaxing at home. And just to remember that none of us are perfect, and perfection was never a requirement. It's hard living this life. It really is. And my hat is off to all of you that are out here doing the work and pondering this path and looking to be the best version of yourself in real time now. I do. I admire you. I'm in the game right along with you. And you're not alone. There is a method to this. There's a method to the madness. And that method is right in front of your eyes. It's just that we've been pondering this thing so long, we don't see it. Sometimes you just got to slow down. Sometimes things just have to align themselves in certain ways for you to really be able to slow down enough to see it. The vessels are abound, and that is the knowledge right there, enough for you to know in a real way that God is watching, because you can see it in all the vessels that God sends amongst you to help you in your time of need. I love you. Happy Saturday evening. Peace and love.